Hello everyone, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this card making tutorial. This is the lovely card we're making today. It's really simple, but I wanted to show you here today how you can add lovely texture to your card using embellishments. I've done it two ways here. I've got this really fluffy ribbon here, and then I've got my little enamel dots or pearls here, which gives us a little bit of bumpiness to the card. So let me show you how I did this. Going to use very similar supplies to last time. So my card base is thick basic white. That's a standard A6 card. So that's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. Then I've got here the Painterly Pears Designer Series paper, and you can see this is the reverse of this pattern here. And then I've got this piece, and I'm going to stick this down just in the centre here. Now you could pop this up as well if you wanted to, but I'm not. I'm just going to leave it flat for now. And I'm just going to have to say this other side is not my favourite, Darling Duckling. I much prefer this pattern. It's absolutely gorgeous. So let's put this down here, sort of centred. Now all the measurements and the supply list will be on the blog post, and you can find the link to that in the description box below, so don't worry about that. So next piece is I'm going to do my ribbon, and this is the, should still be around, it's the white fluffy ribbon. I know it's on the retiring list at the moment, so hopefully it'll still be there. But there's lots of different ribbon choices you can use to add a little bit of texture to your card and a little bit of added interest. So I'm just going to cut a piece here, and then I'm going to cut another piece along the top, just a bit longer than need be, and then I can cut off the excess. So to stick this down, I'm actually going to use some tear and tape. So let me get that out. It just gives it a little bit more structure as well, using the tear and tape. And tear and tape is narrow enough to work with this ribbon. So I'm just going to start off at one end and just work the tear and tape along the piece until I get to the other end, and then I'm just going to tear off the excess, give it a good burnish with my finger. I could use the bone folder as well to do that. It just helps it stick better. And then I'm going to take the backing off. It's a bit more difficult because it is material, but it'll work fine. And then just going to hopefully have that straight as I can, and then I'm just going to lay this down, and hopefully it will be fairly straight, which I think it is. So that's one, and then I'm just going to do the second one exactly the same. So let's put tear and tape on the back, and even if you're just using normal satin or gross grain ribbon, if you stick it down with tear and tape, it will always make it a bit firmer, give it a bit more oomph to it. So just going to do the same thing as before. Take this backing off. Whoopsie daisy. And we're just going to lay this down as best as we can to get things as straight as possible. But in the end, this is handmade. It's not being mass produced, so any imperfections are part of the process, and I don't think they should be sniffed at. We're not looking at perfection. We're looking at something that's made with love and care and attention. So let's just get some of that off my scissors. that in the bin. Well, that's what we've got so far. And it just adds a really lovely tactile dimension to your card. Right, we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So a scrap piece here of basic white, mossy meadow ink. Let's see, I don't use this ink pad very often. Looks fine to me. Block, and then the stamps that I'm going to use is this one, and it's Simply Said. Now last time I did thanks, this time I think I'm going to do happy birthday. So let's take that, and to get it straight I'm just going to put it on my grid paper, so at least it's lined up straight to start off with, and then just tap 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 tap, nicely inked up. Because we just put that down there. Lovely. And these are the old-fashioned ink pads. As these really go back. This is the more modern style, and that's the old style. I've got both on some of mine because I use it for class. Sometimes it's easier for me to have more than one. Then people aren't not meant. Too many people are sharing one ink pad. Also, it means I have a backup if someone, how shall we say, decorates an ink pad, shall we say. I've had a couple of times where people have stamped in an ink pad, not cleaned the stamp afterward properly, and so my ink pad is contaminated. So if I've got a spare, it saves me having to order and wait for something to come in. So now I'm just going to cut this happy birthday out. And I'm just doing this freehand. You could obviously use your trimmer if you so wish, but that will do me fine. So get rid of these bits, and this I am going to pop up, and I'm just going to use some of my, these are the foam adhesive strips, so I'm just going to put that on the back there. That will do fine. Give it a good press. Whoops. Don't try not to throw it across your craft when possible. And then I'm going to just lay this down. I think very much in the same space here. Happy birthday. And now we're ready to stick this down to our card base. So let's get some Tombow on the back of here. And my panel here, my pattern paper, is wider than last time, and there was a reason for that. I wanted to get as much of this pattern in as possible. I really like that. Okay, and then these are the Pearls of Beauty little pearls, obviously. And I'm just going to add a few around. I'm going to use these goldy ones. I'm just going to add, oops, a few here and there. And I'm just trying to decide where I want them. I'm sort of keeping to some sort of a visual triangle. But there we go. So there we have a birthday card and a thank you card. Very simple and easy to make. Just showing you how it just elevates your card by adding some texture and some different elements to the card, just to give it a bit more added interest. So I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial. If you have, please don't forget to give it that big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. As I said, check out the links in the description box below. You'll find all the measurements and everything linked there. And until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.